ranked in the top 25. The Pac-12 volleyball is inarguably the toughest conference in the country. Tonight, inside the Huntsman Center on the campus of the University of Utah, the 15th ranked UCLA Bruins come to town in a match presented by Tashikara. Hi everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Olympian Mike Dodd. And Mike, just a couple of days ago, Utah upset 19th ranked USC. It wasn't just the upset though, it was how they did it.
Yeah, Utah's undoubtedly the nastiest 3-10 team in any conference in the nation. And SC certainly didn't play their best match, but it was more the University of Utah and their play from top to bottom that made a difference in that match.
Utah brings out the best in everyone, it seems, and certainly the last time these two teams met, UCLA came out on top, but the big hitters really had to fight for it.
Yeah, Karsta had 30 kills in that match, and Shelby Dalton had 18 kills herself, and Dalton played so well against USC 2 nights ago, had a couple of great solo blocks against Bricio, so she's going to be an important factor if Utah is going to give UCLA trouble tonight.
Mike Seeley and UCLA have great respect for a Utah team who considers themselves to be giant killers. Welcome back to Salt Lake City and Pac-12 volleyball. 15th ranked UCLA about to take on the Utah Utes. Taking a look at the lineups brought to you by Tashikara. You've already told us about Karsta of UCLA. Who else is going to be a factor?
I'd say Riley Bushler. She had 20 kills last time they played the Utes. Karsta is always looking for a little help out there, and Bushler could be the one to help out tonight.
We were so impressed by this Utah lineup the other day. Their middles in particular were effective.
Yeah, Bateman and Truman, the middles, they were so active against USC. Both had extremely high hitting percentages, and Utah's going to need another big performance from both their middles to keep them active and keep UCLA off balance tonight.
Well, let's get it going with Callie Kirby, the senior setter for Utah, serving. Goes right to the right side and takes UCLA out of system. Lowe's first swing isn't a big one.
Shelby Dalton picking up where she left off against USC with a nice block there against Karsta, and Lowe's defense that set well inside, out of transition or out of systems.
Another set that is not going to be perfect. Lowe's makes the most of it.
That's a tough hit on that left side for a lefty. Karsta with nice footwork getting inside on the set. Again, kind of a broken play, but rips it deep cross court.
I mean, that really does tell the story of Karsta, who we'll spend a lot of time talking about, but she gets every set that can't be sent to anywhere else, and most of the time she tries to make something great of it.
And then when you see her hitting percentage over 300, you're even more amazed.
From the right, a swing and a kill.
And I also had a great match against USC, just a freshman. This is her second time she's starting and playing all the way around as in the opposite hitting position, and doing a great job so far.
Perfect pass from Taylor Formico, and it lets them run the middle. The chase is on, and no good.
That's key for the Bruins as well. Formico with a perfect pass off the serve. UCLA able to run their middles.
Zoe Nightingale, the senior from Sacramento, serving. And a perfect pass leads to another kill from the right, that time from Shelby Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton's so effective on that right side. She can snap line or hit deep cross court. This time, quick set to the right side, just beating the middle cross court.
Leah Adolph serving. She was absolutely spectacular the other night. Another perfect pass. Uh-oh, that's what Karsta does best.
Tough break there for Schofield Olsen. She got the nice soft block on Lowe, blocking at the net, but just couldn't get off and make a good hit in transition on that kind of bang-bang defensive play.
And that's what Utah did extremely well against USC the other day, Mike, was they were able to get that first ball up and always make something of it.
Yeah, their block was great. It wasn't like they had a ton of stuff blocks, but they had so many great soft blocks against USC.
Utah runs a 6-2 offense. That means Kendall Segan comes in to serve and set. In the front court, Eliza Katoa enters. Working along the line, and Claire Felix picks up the kill.
Let's keep an eye on Haley Lawless, number 4 for UCLA. She made a perfect pass on that play, but kind of came up limping.
Michael Seeley is the head coach of UCLA in his 5th season, won a national championship in 2011, and said it's been tough trying to learn what went right that year and learn from it, and how to coach differently when you have so much success early on.
So difficult. It's such a tough game of momentum, and sometimes your team really catches it just at the right time in the playoffs, and sometimes you have a great team going in and all of a sudden they turn up flat. It's a tough thing coaching.
Outside, the ball is long. Utah, led by Beth Lanier, 25th season, 10 NCAA tournament appearances. And I tell you what, they have had a really tough season in terms of coming so close every time. I think they scratched an itch with that USC win. Adolph, perfect set. And a kill from Anai.
So again, Leah Adolph in transition, coming in and just making a smooth bump set. Look at this, right over her shoulder. Perfect spot for Anai on the outside, and Anai does a great job of mixing things up.
Chelsea Schofield-Olsen, one of the leaders emotionally and certainly statistically for this team, serves. Adolph, again, when she sets, people feel comfortable. Formico sets low from the backcourt. They try to chase it down, but can't get it.
Give Formico the assist. That was just a perfect set here. A little bit inside, so Lowe can just come in and snap. But Carson Lowe, the ball just sounds a little different coming off her hand than other players. She brings a heavy ball.
Crushed. Little chicken wing up, but out.
So Adora Anai is picking up right where she left off against USC. Just does a great job of taking balls that are kind of in between off the net and still swinging very aggressively and finding hands and finding ways to get kills.
Another perfect pass, and how about Julie Consani calling her own number?
Consani just so steady right here. This is a perfect pass. Just catching the defense off guard. That's one of those situations where your front row of blockers really needs to talk about who the hitters are and who's up front.
Katoa crushes.
Katoa just 5'10", but so physical. You're going to watch her here just rise, hang, and then snap between the block. She was so inspirational 2 nights ago against USC, had 8 kills, hit 500, and really was one of the big spark plugs for Utah that night.
The freshmen all together, I mean, Anai, Katoa, and Truman were such a beautiful balance to this Utah team. Huge contributors. A little bit of a trap set, and Shelby Dalton says no, not at home.
So let's keep an eye right here. Kylie Kirby, the setter for Utah, is really picking on Bushler. She's hitting this cross-court serve. Gotten Bushler in trouble a couple of times.
One-time serve is long. UCLA back within 1. Happens every time, doesn't it, Mike? Rachel Inoue in to serve. Defensive specialist out of Hawaii. And that's the deal with Utah, right in the middle.
Carly Truman against USC had 7 kills, no errors, hit a career high 778, had 2 blocks. Gonna pick up where she left off. Boy, she's really starting to gain confidence there, hitting in the middle.
Perfect pass, sharp from Lowe.
That's one of those situations where Truman tries to get out there in time, but Lowe's arm is so quick, she just rips that ball cross court before Truman can get the hands over and penetrate the net.
It's quick, and it's her left arm. She's a lefty, and so it gets to her even sooner than maybe Truman's used to seeing. Schofield-Olsen picks up a kill.
Nice little fluffy tap down for Schofield-Olsen. You know, it's not always heat that gets it done as long as you can get it on the floor. And Schofield-Olsen, one of those players, 4 players in the history of the school with 1,000 kills and 1,000 jigs.
And right now, a few holes showing in Utah's block. Wallace makes the most of it.
So far, UCLA's passing, either it's on a dime or it's kind of loosey-goosey, so they've got to firm up their passing for sure.
Meanwhile, Utah's is looking solid. They keep running their middle and they have their options. Big block between Lawless and Felix.
Kind of a tough break for Bateman on this play. It looks like that was going to go out of bounds, and Dalton just kind of stuck her right hand out, trying to make the cover. UCLA doing a nice job of sealing that net.
Yeah, and that block, in particular, Felix and Lawless, 6'4.5" when you want to average them together, and so you really need to have some options. Katoa comes back up front for Utah as Segan comes in to set. Uh-oh. Inoue chases it down, and it's a free ball to the Utes. Katoa begging for it, but they go to the middle and Bateman.
Bateman does a great job of hitting in transition, gets off quick, makes the quick approach, and that set was low, and she was able to kind of cuff that ball across her body and get it down. Nice job of middle hitting in transition.
From the back court, low, crushes it, screams, she's ready.
Again, one of those kind of shank, shooty sets that Consani does a great job of saving and giving Lowe just a nice set on the 10-foot line, and Karsa Lowe just has so much range.
Four-time Pac-12 Player of the Week. She's had 3 30-plus kill matches. Uh-oh, overpass, but Utah tries to salvage it.
And one of those 30 gamers was against this team when UCLA won in 5, one of their standard 15-13 wins against Utah, and standard loss for Utah in those game 5s, but Karsa Lowe had 30 kills in that match.
Another great pass, goes outside. Katoa seems to get away from her, actually. This time she contacts Drolson, digs. Bateman's in the air. They go so quick to Katoa.
That was such a tough play for Consani. She's got to lay down and try to pick up the dig and then get to the outside, and just was flying out there, and Katoa did a nice job of saving a real low set that she didn't have a chance to swing on and make a cagey little dink.
Outside, turned, down the line, got the touch. Riley Bushler, a freshman.
Yeah, real nice play. Takes the serve overhand, then swings outside, rips line. Nice all-around play. Love to see players pass and hit.
Back to the right, Katoa picks up where she left off the other day. Utah leads by 1. The middles again keeping the blockers steady as Utah is ahead. Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Utah leading in set number 1 by 1 point. Both teams hitting for huge numbers, Mike, so far.
Yeah, Utah 500, UCLA 471. Really nice volleyball so far the first half of this first set. Both teams playing at a very high level.
Bailey Bateman, senior out of Hooper, Utah, back to serve. Again, wants Bushler to handle that first ball. She says no problem. Out of system a little bit, and Nye puts a little too much on it.
Really tough swing there for Nye. That ball was drifting well off the net, but as she's been doing all along, going for it, just hitting deep.
Nye has a cousin who plays on the women's basketball team. They're kind of creating a little dynasty here. Solo block for Zoe Nightingale.
So just add another one to her team leading 15. Nightingale so effective at reading setters, getting up quick, taking away the angle. That was just a great all-round individual move.
Once in a while, you'll see a natural blocker. Zoe Nightingale has been that good since her freshman year in terms of contributing off the block. And Segan calls her own number from the backcourt.
That's a tough play for the blockers for UCLA. Segan's a back row player. She's going to jump. And they're letting centers get away with that jump and still attacking over on two.
So she's still
the
under the
argument
plane.
is they're underneath the plane in the net, but that's a tough play for the blockers.
There was a hole, but it was dug perfectly. Zoe Nightingale again on the net.
Again, that's Nightingale, and that's really good eye work because she's up there blocking, keeping those eyes open, seeing that Anai is going to dink that ball, hanging up and just slapping it down. Really nice work. Nightingale having an impressive run through the front row, doing what she does best.
Inoue's serve is short. Adolph lays out. Truman, my Lord.
And you can just see the confidence building in Truman. She is so dynamic. The arm is so quick, and she is just getting better and better as we watch.
She was a young high schooler when UCLA won the national championship. Doesn't seem to really care that much about the resume. Gets a block there.
And that's going to be 4 hits because Nightingale kind of reached up and barely touched the ball in the first cover play. And again, Utah continued to get the job done at the net.
Adora Anai got playing time right at the start of the season, lost out to Katoa, and now has moved to the other side. Service error there as Utah continues to try to serve tough. There's a big front line for UCLA. Karsta Lowe at 6'4", Claire Felix at 6'6", and Wallace 6'3". Here's Lowe, shut down.
Tough break for Lowe, did a great job of getting the soft block. Now here in transition, sets just a little bit tight. Schofield does a nice job of really pressing over and taking away that seam.
Lowe wants that ball back badly. And the block the second time.
And that's something that Karsta Lowe is used to. Every team knows that they're going to her. And Schofield again, look at this arm swing. Up, press over. And just getting the job done. University of Utah, their blocking has been very impressive. These, you know, the match against USC and the first set here against UCLA.
And Karsta Lowe carries such a heavy load for this team. You know, you forget she was a walk-on her freshman year, earned a scholarship after her freshman season, and she has been absolutely phenomenal. Certainly this year she's been remarkable.
Well, you look at her numbers. She's #1 in the nation in kills and points per set. And I tell you, there's a lot. There's 4 players, you know, from the Pac-12 that have been the ABC Player of the Year, and she puts herself right in contention to be there for the 5th Pac-12 player to get that award.
And as you take a look at those numbers for Karsta Lowe, you remember that she was the ABCA National Player of the Week earlier. And Mike, the question comes up then, could she be a National Player of the Year candidate?
I think absolutely. You look at her numbers, and she could definitely be the 5th in a row for the Pac-12. You know, a lot depends on how UCLA does, and hopefully they'll make a run at it in the NCAA tournament. But as far as just pure numbers, what she's done for her team, what she's done in arguably the very best conference in the nation with putting up these numbers, she's definitely a top candidate for the award.
Asking Michael Seeley what got into her this year, he said, look, she's got a case of senioritis in the best way you could ever want. It's her last year playing for UCLA, and she wants it badly. That's Lawless putting it down.
That's a nice timeout for UCLA. Utah was getting on a little bit of a roll there. They stopped the momentum, come out and get a real important side out.
To the middle. So that was a little bit low for Bateman. From the back court, never over.
So that's the 5th error. Uncharacteristic for Lowe to make this many errors. It's 5 errors on 4 kills. You know, the good news for UCLA is she's not playing her best right now, and they're only down 2.
Yeah, and a lot of that, as you pointed out earlier, comes from their passing to a degree, although that one they would have gone to Lowe anyway. This one overpassed. Katoa not going to let it happen.
Yeah, Kansani in the front row almost got the block on that play. Made a good effort. Setter so often the 5-1 setter will come over and get a block on that. And Katoa just has a quick arm and quick jump. Got up and snapped that thing.
Outside. Speaking of quick, it was long, though, from Lawless.
You're going to see another perfect pass. Lawless had that line wide open, just rips it a little deep.
Utah in the driver's seat in set number 1, and you start thinking about the tournament as we get to this point in the season, and there's some important criteria that we have to pay attention to. In part, you have to be 500 at least overall, and that's something that Utah is not right now. They need to win 3 more to get there.
Yeah, and you've got the head-to-head competition, results versus common opponents, and then the secondary criteria as well.
That late season performance may come in handy for Utah as we talk about it. When you take a look at the Pac-12 standings, we've already said this is inarguably the toughest conference in women's volleyball. How many of these teams, Mike, in your opinion, should be in the tournament?
Well, at least the 8 that are in the top 25. You got 2 other teams that are getting votes and with very strong RPIs, Oregon State. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Oregon State go on a little bit of a roll at the end of this season, becoming the 9th team to get in from the Pac-12.
Beth Lanier's team, you talked about how tough they've played everyone, and they have had 5-set matches in Pac-12 play alone, and they have just come out on the short end of it. They're 1-4 in those particular matches.
Well, you wonder where the silver lining is to things like that, and to her credit, this team is still playing positive. They were unbelievable against USC, and they've come out again tonight playing with that same, you know, reckless abandon, but also with a high level of efficiency.
Low, Superwoman from the backcourt, flies in.
So that's 2 real nice timeouts by Mike Seeley. Coming out of it, running a nice offensive play, getting the all-important side out. So, you know, at 2023, UCLA, with their timeouts, has given them a chance to make a little run here at Utah and try to steal this first set.
Carly Drolson serving, last year's starting libero, has adjusted to a lesser role as defensive specialist and done a great job with it. That ball set out and over, and UCLA chipping away.
Just what they needed to do. Came out of the timeout, got a good side out. Now, on the other side of the coin, Beth Lanier with a good timeout, stopping it early, giving her team a chance to regroup it and set something up to try to get a side out of this next UCLA serve.
UCLA this season having a much improved season than over last year. Last year was just a rough go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these seasons are so tough. The Pac-12 is so tough. You have, you know, a setter issue, or you have some injury issues. You have things that happen that can just really hurt your team. And this year, they've come back. Kansani's come in. It's kind of an interesting story where I think Metzger was actually recruiting Kansani to do some beach volleyball, and then kind of said, hey, Mike, you might want to take a look at her setting indoors. She looks like she's got the necessary ingredients, and she's come out and really been one of the real stabilizing factors for this UCLA team, along with Lowe just playing unbelievably volleyball from start to finish. Yeah,
it's an interesting story on Kansani because we asked, okay, how did she end up in the starting role? He's got 2 other talented setters, Michaela Leonard and Megan Moineau, who's been setting this team for a few years, and he said at the beginning of the season, Kansani was the only healthy setter we had. We used her, and she set us some big wins against Illinois, Hawaii, USC, Oregon. I'm not going to mess with that, he said. She's been successful.
Yeah, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. It's just players seem to connect, players seem to feed off other players, and sometimes you just have to search and find the right dynamic with you and your team, and oftentimes it's players that maybe, you know, on paper don't look as strong as other players, but the team unit functions better.
Ball is dug long and over. And this is a messy rally. It'll be 4 hits on UCLA, and it is set point for the Utes.
So again, Utah grovels for the side out. They didn't get it clean, but they were able to block, keep the ball alive, and now give themselves a chance here to win the first set.
Schofield Olsen looks at Bushler. They go to Lowe. Who else are you going to go to at that point?
Boy, what a nice set. That's just about 2 feet inside of that 3-meter line, that 10-foot line. Lowe just kind of broad jumps and snaps And now UCLA's got to make some defensive plays.
It remains set point. Utah well out of system. And UCLA now trailing by just one.
Formico did a nice job. You know, she can't afford to miss these serves, and she served a nasty floater on that first one, and now Utah going to take another timeout.
Beth Lanier going to call another timeout as the Utes are at set one. We're enjoying this volleyball so much, and there's so much more volleyball still ahead on Pac-12 networks. Next Thursday at 5 p.m., second-ranked Washington versus 21st-ranked Colorado. Colorado been given everybody fits. Or you might see 11th-ranked Oregon, 16th-ranked Arizona. And at 7 o'clock, Washington State versus Utah. Log on to pac-12.com for regional programming information.
I'm going to be interested to see that match with Oregon and Arizona. I did the last match in Oregon, and both of those teams statistically are so even, yet in that match, Oregon just blew Arizona out of the water. So it'll be interesting to see if Arizona comes back at home and plays a little better against Oregon the next time. Yeah,
you really don't know what to expect when you see these Pac-12 matches, what's going to happen, because it's such a tough conference from top to bottom. And even with these new players, it's a more freshman-heavy year than any year in the past. And of course, Kansani, a newcomer to the team. You talked about strength, and it was interesting because Michael Seeley and assistant coach Stein Metzger both talked about how hard she worked in the weight room during the offseason, knowing she was going to be setting now for the indoor team in Pac-12. She has really upped her strength.
And you can see she's just a baller. Her instincts on the court, picking up little plays, covering when she has to, doing the little things. You can see how she plays.
Outside. Oh no! And the first set goes to Utah.
Again, Anai just so aggressive. That set was well off the net, and she just went up and ripped it cross court. Big kill for her team, and big first set for Utah.
A tough first set, but Utah doing exactly what they expect to do. We told you, they think they're giant killers. Set two next.
When a pro at 2 on Pac-12 networks.
Utah jumps out to take control in the first set. 25-23 victory over UCLA. Second set about to start. And of course, Mike, no surprise that Utah's freshmen were big impact players.
Yeah, they sure were. Anai and Katoa, both freshmen, both had 4 kills. And they play so exciting. And it's so fun to watch them. Even in warm-ups, they push each other to just bounce balls, hit hard, and they go for it. It's really, you know, it's kind of that nice freshman feeling where they really don't know how important some of these hits and some of these plays are. That time Katoa with a real nice reaction there, saving that tight low set. But they bring a lot of energy to their team.
Taking a look at the numbers, again, the biggest number that impressed me was the freshman contributions. What impresses you here?
Yeah, it's so tight, you know, the hitting percentage, you know, Utah's up a little bit, but I think Utah is just making the little plays. They're winning those longer rallies. They're getting a few more soft blocks, giving themselves more opportunities. They've got a couple more blocks, but all in all, you know, 25-23, that's a tight match that can go either way. Coaches did a great job calling timeouts. Now we'll see how UCLA reacts to losing that first set and how they come out here in the second.
It's a bit of a chess match between the coaches too, isn't it? Because after each coach would call their timeout, we'd see something different. Michael Seeley had some successful timeouts. Beth Lanier called that last timeout before set point.
All 4 good timeouts. All 4 came out and scored after, and good coaching, good playing. That was a good first set.
Set 2 about to get underway. Rachel Inoue serves down the line. Strength to go outside. Shelby Dalton turns it.
What a nice hit from Dalton. That set was well inside, moved her feet in, got under the ball, and just ripped it across her body down the line. Big kill for Utah.
From the middle. And trapped by the block as it is Dalton and Truman.
Yeah, Dalton doing a nice job of reading the setter, Kansani, coming over and helping out Truman. Didn't really give Nightingale anywhere to hit on that play.
Back. the block, but I tell you, it's a confidence shaker, that one.
Yeah, Schofield is doing such a good job of swinging those arms and just kind of getting up and being menacing, and Lowe just a high, hard swing off the hands, out of bounds. But you saw Schofield just like, oh, I almost got another.
Perfect pass. Wow, look at Truman up high, ready to receive it. Dalton makes something of a pretty tough set, but it goes long, no touch.
Anai playing great defense deep middle. Dalton, that set was a little tight, almost saved it. Good rally.
Zoe Nightingale serving. Adolph, money. And again, Dalton set not where she seems to expect it. Use of the hands from Lawless.
Lawless, nice swing, high down the line off the hands. Yeah, that's twice in a row now that Dalton and Kirby, their timing has not been real good setting on that right side.
In fact, all these sets and plays are looking just a little bit off for Utah.
Yeah, Utah's come out here a little loosey-goosey here at the start of the second set. Got to firm everything up. It all starts with ball control.
Truman, she's magical, this time behind the center.
And give Kirby a lot of credit. She moved the players around on that serve receive so she could set up Truman on the little slide right here. That was a nice job of managing your hitters.
Long, no touch. And we're tied back up at 4 apiece. You know, Mike, in that win the other day, Utah had not beat USC since 1986. So UCLA owns the advantage in this matchup, this series, winning 7 of the last 8. And yet Utah playing like they own the place.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, sports, and especially with young players. And here we are, we had such a high level in the first set, and now here in the second set, we've already seen a ton of unforced errors and just not great ball control.
And they're getting the hand on Lowe and slowing her down. Ball is up. A great pancake from Formico. And the Utes snapped a 6-match losing streak last season with that win. Of course, they haven't won at home here against UCLA since 2004. Lowe follows up a nice broken play with a service error.
Back in for Utes.
She has a slight smile there, Karsta Lowe does.
She really has a nice demeanor on the court. She
Yeah,
just
she
seems
does.
so even keel and so level.
Just a couple of years ago, she was averaging 2 kills per set. She's up near 6 now, leading the nation.
You see Felix on a nice slide, getting involved with the offense. Got to get the middles involved. She brings that arm swing from Lowe, ripping down the line.
Carly Drolson serving. Anai steps in front of the libero. Katoa! Wow! Heat.
Katoa so dynamic, just rises and snaps there on the outside. And she comes down and jumps almost as high on the second jump after the kill as the first. Just brings a lot of energy to her team.
Outside. Bushler catches Bateman's left hand, not paying attention.
Bushler again, nice job of receiving serves. She's getting a lot of serves and swinging outside and getting the kill.
Anai, solid pass. Katoa, every time she springs in the air now, you're not sure. Karsta Lowe comes up again from the backcourt.
Yeah, Utah trying a little too hard to stop Lowe in the net on that play, and Zoe Nightingale is just so quick and reads the setter so well. She got a nice soft block on that last play, setting up Lowe on the 10-foot line hit, and again, just a lot of missed serves here at the start of the second set for both teams.
Yeah, missed serve is maybe a big opportunity. Bateman serves, Truman back up front. Oh, Anai blocks it with a little attitude.
A little bit of tude there. You're going to see Nightingale swing around on that classic slide. And Anai just seals that line and then gives a little stare down.
She's got something to say. Outside. Bushler turns it down the line.
Yeah, Bushler's getting a lot of work, getting a lot of serves, passing pretty darn well, swinging outside. Again, Utah had the soft block on that, just Segan couldn't control it defensively.
And Bushler having a lot of success hitting line. Katoa, good gracious.
Katoa likes it one way, fast. Because her fast twitch fibers are so abundant. And there's the second hop with the leg kick.
That was
just
slow motion,
people
right?
So fired up. Yeah, she's
doesn't even
fun.
look slow motion when
Very
you're looking
dynamic.
at how quick her arm is.
That time Bushler trying to rip it down the line, just hits it wide. First one to say my bad. Let's get back at it.
Bushler's loving both lines. Callie Kirby serves.
I got cover.
Another big block from the Utes.
And for me, that set's just a little low and a little inside for low. It's actually giving the block a chance to form and seal and press into that gap between the block. Dalton is so tough over there on the right side blocking.
It's up. Schofield Olsen makes sure that everybody knows it's hers. Free ball. Low. Rips a hole in the block.
It's one of those hits where just the force coming off her hands just kind of pushed the block of Utah back. I mean, it looked like they were formed pretty well, and the ball just pushed their hands back and went over on Utah's side. Great hitters can do that and get away with it.
They're saying it's an ace, and then tried to sell it as hard as they could.
Yeah, Nye did a nice job trying to sell that, but linesman right on the ball. It's a nice serve down the line.
They're going after a Nye on their serving, that's for sure. Dalton bounces one off the head.
Dalton's just one of those players, you know, you look at the end of the match, and against SC she had 8 kills, but she always seems to have big kills. You know, those kills that get you out of trouble, those kills that win you big points. It's just a money player.
Yeah, when she was on the Pac-12 All-Star team to China a couple of years ago, she really impressed head coach Mick Haley. She was the second highest scorer that trip behind Inky Ajanaku, and it was something that Beth Lanier, who was an assistant on the team, said was a real announcement to people around the conference about her.
Yeah.
Dalton sets a Nye, but a Nye stepped on the 3-meter line.
Wow, that was just right in front of us here. And that was barely on the line, but on the line definitely. And Nightingale has quietly done a real nice job of serving for UCLA. She's gotten on strings of points a couple of times now.
Great pass from Adolph. Outside quickly. No touch, and UCLA takes the lead.
So Nightingale, steady Eddie back there, just kind of standing float serve, corner to corner, zone 5 to zone 5, causing a lot of trouble.
And shut down the other way. What's Garcillo looking at on her hands there? For a second, I thought she was going a little bit Johnny Manziel as UCLA leads by 2.
Esurance was born.
UCLA leading in the second set, 15-13, but Mike Dodd, it's a little bit of a shaky lead as we haven't seen either team really take control yet.
Yeah, shaky lead and such low hitting percentage. Utah actually hitting 0 right now, 5 kills on 5 errors. UCLA not a whole lot better. They have 9 kills and they've made 6 errors, but UCLA seems to be doing a little better at the net, pressing over, getting some big blocks, and Nightingale's been serving tough.
Back to Dalton. That's where she likes it. It's dug by Kansani. No block up on low. Dalton also likes the line, and she uses it there.
So again, Leah Adolph picks up another assist with a perfect bump set here. This is a tough ball to set. It's high spinning. She kind of takes the spin off, puts it in a nice spot, and Dalton chopping line.
Inoue passes. Ball is low. Callie Kirby gets herself set. When in doubt, go to low.
Formico with a nice set out to low on that right side. Such a great luxury in transition to have a hitter like Lowe that you know you can go to and score points.
Lowe has already had 23 swings on the ball. It's pretty incredible. Taking a look at Karsta Lowe, held very quiet in the first set with equal numbers of kills and errors, and she's rectified that in second set.
Yeah, but she's still mad at herself because she missed her second serve in a row there, and great players, they do things like that, and they're their worst critic.
Not up.
So again, the little things, Kansani just kind of feeling it, feeling the game, just saying, oh, I think they're not ready for that, and here we go. Another big kill for UCLA.
Bushler up front and in for UCLA. Outside to Katoa. She's up. She has to wait for it a bit. And the block is not closed for Bushler. She gets a touch.
Boy, that's Bushler's best swing of the night right now. She just ripped that ball cross court. This set, Utah's been a little off in their timing with a few of the hitters. Everyone expecting the ball to come a little faster.
Outside. Katoa trying to get the momentum back.
Yeah, that's the set that Katoa likes. Bring it fast from wherever you are on the court. I'll just get up and snap. Big side out for Utah, trying to keep themselves in this second set.
Katoa 7 kills on 14 swings, no errors. Claire Felix now contributing for UCLA.
Felix again just bringing it from low up to high and then snap cross court. Here she comes. Ooh, nasty hit, great angle.
Claire Felix having a great day. She goes out as they rotate out of the front court. Down on UCLA's side, and Utah going to make a push here.
And that time Anai gets the kill strictly because she comes in and swings aggressively and beats the UCLA block before they can press over the net.
Bateman sets Schofield Olsen from the back court, and it works.
Middle blockers love getting assists. Bateman with the nice bump set here in transition. Schofield again, she did this against USC on plays that a lot of players will stop and bump over the net. She just kept coming and brought it from the 10-foot line.
Karsta Lowe shut down.
And again, Anai with a little bit of attitude. She did a great job of stepping in and helping out the middle with that block. Got a big part of it. We're going to see a nice play set. Here she comes, and Anai pressing over and showing emotion.
UCLA and Utah tied up at 19 apiece. UCLA's coaching expertise goes deep. Their assistant, Stein Metzger, is UCLA's sand volleyball head coach. He actually played at UCLA with Michael Seeley.
And man, you look at Metzger's resume, 3 NCAA championships, 2nd all-time in assists. I mean, who calls the shots during the timeout? Seeley's 3rd all-time in assists, Metzger's 2nd. Does that mean Metzger has priority in calling the play coming out of timeouts? He's just, I knew him so much more from his beach game, but his all-round stuff is really nice.
Yeah, he still moves well, too. They're showing him during warm-ups here. When we first got here today, the coaches were actually just handling the ball a little bit together. And you know, you're a sand coach for St. Mary's. I mean, the crossover between the sand and indoor game, it's a really different game in a lot of different ways. And for Stein Metzger to move his head from indoor to sand and back shows a lot of strength as well.
Oh yeah, just a great all-around player. And I got a great story about Stein. And he actually started playing his first year on the AVP tour was my last year. And the one thing that really stood out about Stein was that he was a lot of young players that we would play, they'd kind of watch you and kind of be awed by you, or when they first came on. Metzger, he was figuring out ways to beat you from the get-go. He was never intimidated at all. And that was an interesting attribute that I never saw in a young player out on the tour.
Not impressed. Well, Stein's going to talk to us after this set, actually, and so it's interesting as you talk about that, I'm thinking that's the same thing that strikes me about some of these Utah players, Katoa in particular. And there she is. Back again. Tries to rip it a little too much with the solo block.
And again, as soon as that set gets up a little high, Katoa has difficulty. So, boy, if I'm the setters for Utah, I just shoot that ball out to her as fast as possible.
Lower, lower, lower. She loves it.
She'll get there. She's quick enough.
And they're making her pass that first ball. Middle. Speaking of quick, Truman.
Just the elevation for Truman out of the middle. She gets up so high, so quick, and really has nice range. What a nice young player. Redshirt freshman.
Callie Kirby's serve. Handled by Formico, and then outside to Lowe. Well, the block wasn't there, but the defense was. Adolph. Great dig. Uh-oh. Speaking of quick. Anai. And Utah ties it up at 21 apiece.
And it's always the little things that make the difference. Again, Adolph with two real nice bump sets in transition during that rally gives Anai the opportunity to go high off the hands and get another kill.
Back. No touch.
Bushler first looking for the high hands, not getting it. Ball sails out of bounds, and Utah slowly continues to keep the pressure on.
Going out to Karsta Lowe, as they do always. That one wide, and Utah approaching, closing out the second set.
UCLA going to take another smart timeout, Mike Seeley. And again, when Lowe is hitting on that left side, she's a lefty, so you got to push that set to the outside. And when UCLA's not pushing that set outside to her, she's having a tough go of it.
She is. She's relied upon so much. And, you know, as you look around the league, you see that the player of the week for the Pac-12 is another player who similarly is relied upon by her team in Taylor Simpson of Colorado. Colorado ranked 21st in the nation, and Taylor Simpson, a big reason why.
Yeah, just one of those great all-around players. Like Lowe, having a great senior year, and she does so many different things with her blocking, with her digging, but most of all, it's hitting, and big-time hitting from the 10-foot line, and when they really need her in transition, and a well-deserved honor.
As you look at the news and notes from around the Pac-12 conference, Stanford #1 in the AVCA for the last 9 weeks after they upended Penn State at the beginning of the season. There's 3 undefeated teams left in the nation.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if Stanford and Washington get to that final match, you know, on the 26th in Seattle, undefeated. If they do, it's going to be one heck of a match.
I know, and neither coach feels particularly comfortable with that undefeated role because it's all been close wins. That's how tough this conference is.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and I think most coaches won't admit it, but a lot of coaches, I think, when they have undefeated teams and they're moving into the playoffs, kind of wish they might get one loss just to kind of wake their team up and snap them back in before the playoffs start.
I totally agree. Texas has that. Free ball. Back to Dalton. She drains it down the front of the net, and it is set point Utah.
So again, Anai doing a great job of sealing the line on Bushler, setting up the swing for Dalton, and now Utah's looking at 2-0 if they can get this point.
Karsta Lowe takes a swing. It's controlled. Truman has pulled herself out of it. And the set's too tight for Anai.
That time Anai tried to go for it all and just rip it cross court. Nightingale said, I'll have none of that. Seals the cross court. But again, Utah has put themselves in a great spot here to win this second set.
Inoue serving. Right down the line. They're going to make the freshman handle it. She says, that's fine. She's saying it's outside of the antenna, and it is a UCLA point. Timeout taken by Beth Lanier.
Yeah, nice timeout for Beth. What? Anai, you know, that hit was out, but she did everything right. That serves off her right shoulder. She just passed it right into the setter spot and then made the approach with a hard swing. Even with the error, you got to love everything that led up to it and the attitude that's brought. Here's this pass over her right shoulder, right on a dime. And now this ball's just outside of the antenna. You know, tough play, but boy, a freshman, second night, starting at the outside hitting position, playing all the way around. If I'm Beth Lanier, I'm so happy with how Anai is playing and what she's doing out there on the court.
Taking a look at Utah, I mean, what a season that they have had. Last match, of course, we've talked about that win over USC. It snapped a 5-match losing streak, and Mike, it seems like they were all close losses.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's tough.
In the Pac-12, there's just no rest for the weary. There's no easy nights out, especially if you're a team like Utah. And I just am amazed at, how they've worked through all those tough, disappointing losses and come out on this weekend and really showed their home crowd what they're made of, what their intestinal fortitude is, and it's big. It's a credit to Beth and the program.
Yeah, when we talk about those close losses, I want to make sure I'm clear. They had all those close losses earlier in the season, and then they kind of fell apart into getting swept a few times right before that USC win, which made that win all the more important for them. Anai handles first ball. Truman. And Utah will go into the break up 2-0.
And again, Kirby switched the hitters around, setting up Truman for that slide to finish that second set. Can't say enough for Callie Kirby and the way that she's run her teams and run her teams especially at the end of both of those first 2 sets.
For UCLA, Mike, what should they take away from these first 2 sets that they can improve upon?
Well, they definitely came out in the second set and established themselves and just, again, it wasn't so much that UCLA had a bunch of errors. I mean, Karsta Lowe got in a little bit of trouble when she was hitting on that left side. Utah got some nice soft blocks. But they've just got to cut down on some of the unforced errors and continue to play their game, because the UCLA is a fine team. They're 15th in the nation, and they have the ability, they have the players, and they have the talent to come back and make this a 5-set match.
Assistant coach Stein Metzger joining us now. And Stein, so close in both sets. What adjustments can be made?
Just closing out games, We're in there in that match right there, and they go on a big run on us. Really comes down to passing. We got stuck in that rotation one, and 10 was doing a nice job of stopping Karsta out on the left. So it's basically just playing well at the end of matches. That's what it comes down to in this league, right?
Yeah, it seems like in the Pac-12, there's no rest for the weary. Everywhere you go, it's tough. So you're coming into the break now. What do you tell your team, basically?
I don't think we need to change too much. We're just missing some opportunities. There's probably about 4 or 5 opportunities in each game that we're missing, a ball handling opportunity or a kill opportunity. So we just got to play our game and just play it a little better.
Thanks for joining us, Stein.
Sure.
Utah feeling very good about their position right now. They're up 2-0. Is it possible they could upend 2 ranked teams this weekend? They're on their way.
By Allstate. Click or call.
Welcome into our San Francisco studios. I'm Jill Savage with your Pac-12 Intermission Report. We'll get you back out to UCLA and Utah in just a minute. But first, let's get you caught up on the other matches earlier today on Pac-12 networks. Coach Jim Moore and the number 11 Ducks taking on the Cougars in Pullman in the second set. Set point for the Cougs, who are down 1-0. Kyra Holt gets the kill, and the Cougs take the second set. In the third, Liz Brenner hammers it home. She now has over 1,000 kills and 1,000 digs in her career. In the fourth set, match point for the Ducks. Nia Crichton gets the kill for the win. The Ducks take it in 4 sets over the Cougs. Number 19 USC on the road facing number 21 Colorado. USC has never lost to the Buffs. Second set, USC up 1. Taylor Simpson with the kill that puts the Buffs up 1. A back and forth second set still. USC set point. That's Samantha Bricio with the kill. Trojans take the 2-0 lead into the third match point. Alicia Ogums finishes it off, and the Trojans get the sweep of the Buffs. They face number 1 Stanford this Wednesday here on Pac-12 Networks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with your sports report update right after this.
Car.
Record 8 Pac-12 teams ranked in the top 25. 15th ranked UCLA, trailing Utah right now by a score of 2-0. Hi, everybody. Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Olympian Mike Dodd. And Mike, Utah ahead again. We saw this Friday. What's your reaction?
I'm not stunned at all. They're playing great volleyball, and it was really 2 different kinds of sets. They were just on top from the get-go in the first set. And then in the second, UCLA came out, flexed their muscles early, and Utah's blocking really got them back into the second set, and they ended up winning.
I tell you, another thing that we're not surprised about is the play of freshman Eliza Katoa.
Yeah, Katoa has 7 kills so far, and it's not just the way she gets kills, but it's the energy she brings to the team. You watch her after the kill. She really gets fired up, really gets her team involved, and just brings a lot. And she doesn't make very many errors, only 1 error. She had no errors against USC, and again, Utah's block, especially against Karsta Lowe, they've been really keying on her and getting on. There's Karsta coming out from the 10-foot line, and Utah stuffing it back.
Yeah, 9 blocks for Utah versus 5 for UCLA. The hitting percentage, not impressive for either team.
Yeah, but you know what? We talked a little bit about Utah's middles and how they needed to come out big tonight. And you look at Carly Truman, 5 kills, hitting .571, and she's got 6 block assists and 1 solo, 7 blocks so far, and we're just in the second set. Dalton's got 4 block assists. She's unbelievable on the right side at sealing that line and then pressing into the middle. Utah's doing a nice job, even with the big lead in blocks for points and stuff blocks. They're getting a lot of soft blocks and giving their defense a chance to run good transition plays as well.
Is Utah going to upset 2 ranked teams in the same weekend? Maybe. We'll see. Set 3 now underway. They start with Lowe.
And that's a good place to start. Lowe getting UCLA off to the right start.
Friday, a win over 19th ranked USC. Through the block.
Ane again continues to be aggressive.
Adora Anai, the freshman from Hawaii, has made the switch just Friday over to playing on the left. I think she's going to stay there, Mike. Outside. And now UCLA looking a little more in system.
That's a nice set from Consana. You want to get all the hitters involved that time. Nice set out to Lawless. Get everyone involved. Start getting things moving in a positive way.
Schofield Olsen uses the block. Tell you what's so beautiful about this Utah team is that we're talking about Anai and Katoa and Truman, and yet Schofield, Olsen, Dalton, Adolph, those three seniors have been absolute money, along with Callie Kirby, excuse me. I mean, they've really got balance. Another big block. Bateman as well, a senior.
Schofield is just making such a nice move. Here you're going to see the arm swing again if we get her into there. Oh, no, that time just kind of a shuffle hop up and over. Nice moves.
Uh-oh. Bateman places it where they're not.
It's a tough play for Bateman. When the setter's in the front row like Kinsani is, she can sneak up and block you on that play, but Bateman just kind of moves the ball away from Kinsani and gets it down.
Outside. Schofield, Olsen, and Inoue lays out for it. Well off the net. Tight ball. You hear the communication from Utah. Longest rally we've seen. Sets tight, and Lawless uses the block.
We talked a lot about Leigh Adolph and her bump setting in transition, and that time Formico came in and gave Lawless just a perfect bump set on the outside.
Both of these liberos very vocal, which is what you want. You can really see both of them between plays directing their front line where they're going to go. Adolph has been spectacular this weekend. A senior from Germany. Nice save by Felix. Another great set from Adolph. Results in a kill.
And Dalton, when she hits that cross court, it's not like a straight snap over the top. She kind of hits a little hybrid knuckler, and you could see that just handcuffed the defenders on that play. Tough ball to dig.
Katoa is back in up front alongside Schofield, Olsen, and Bateman. Claire Felix making a couple of early contributions.
Yeah, that's a nice dink, because Felix has just been beating that line on this little flare set. This time just brings the same windup, but then delivers the dink, and everyone was frozen.
Katoa springs into the air, does it a second time as well. Oh my, ripped. Utah wants this rally badly. UCLA playing strong. Turn down the line, Bushler finds it.
And that Bushler, after the first two sets, she had 5 kills, 4 errors. And that is what UCLA needs, for her to come out and be aggressive and get some kills.
Bateman trying to find that deep court. Oh my. Ball handling error on Karsta Lowe. She knows it, puts those hands back in her pockets.
Schofield, Olsen.
You're gonna go. Definite double contact, but Carcelo's got to go for that set.
Kinsani makes a beautiful set to the middle. And a block. Nightingale shutting down the net. Low from the backcourt. She's going to get set once in every rally, it seems. Yeah. Nice one from Kinsani.
Segan Kendall made a couple of real nice defensive plays, and she almost picks up that dink right there, that throwdown by Kinsani.
Katoa gets a kill.
Katoa, again, the quicker you set that ball to the outside, the more effective she's going to be. So explosive. What a fun player to watch.
And there's a Daphne Nelson said something to Michael Seeley. We'll try to figure out what it is.
Well, they're just trying to figure out their rotation right now. I think UCLA might have found themselves one rotation ahead of themselves, and now they're back lined up.
Beth Lanier talking it over. Daphne Nelson just checking it out to see if there's any penalty for it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, those adjustments kind of after the fact. You're saying, well, why didn't you catch that the play before when we could have used, you know, the point going our way? But that happens in volleyball. Everyone's ready to play on.
Bateman's serve makes Bushler handle the first one. Ball hit the antenna off of a nice swing. Point UCLA.
So again, Anai just going for it, but that was a real tough attempt. That set was really flying toward the antenna. Just couldn't get enough on the ball before it hit the antenna. But again, Utah with another nice soft block and opportunity.
Back. Katoa, they've got no answer.
Katoa is so good at just taking an inside set and just kind of snapping away from her body back down the line. She's done that a number of times. And again, lots of kills, very few errors.
35-inch vertical. Coach Beth Lanier says she's a huge competitor, and you can see it. Karstelov's favorite swing right there.
And that's what happens when you kind of try to go up too high to stop low. She will beat you into the angle.
What a snap from Anai, and she celebrates too.
Anai and Katoa, the two freshmen, they're really the two players that are bringing the biggest amount of energy. The seniors are bringing the steady play. The freshmen are bringing the energy and the emotion.
And what a set that was from Callie Kirby. Just looking amazing. What a set from Karstelow right there, but Utah's block waiting for it.
I tell you, Dalton, if she's not one of the very best right side blockers in the nation, let alone the Pac-12, she just holds her ground, reads the hitter, and presses over, seals that line, gets a ton of blocks.
Utah runs the middle anyway. Pass isn't perfect, they don't care. They go Truman, and Michael Seeley is going to make a change.
And Carly Truman is just playing with so much confidence. She's so athletic. It was interesting because I was looking at her stats before the USC match. She was hitting under 200. She had made a lot of errors, and now just to see how she's developed this weekend as far as her hitting percentage, not making errors, and really contributing to the team.
Michael Seeley put in his freshman from Greece, Olga Stronzeli. Put Stronzeli in place of Haley Lawless. And a shutdown block from Claire Felix.
Felix doing a great job that play of really moving her feet and getting out in front of the three set, pressing over and getting the big stuff.
Stronzeli playing to her left, going to have an impact. Hopes Michael Seeley, but Callie Kirby makes it happen.
Again, the dump from the back row setter up in the air. Nice job. Do it as long as you can.
And there's the first swing of the day from Stronzeli.
Stronzeli, another one of those lefties, just bringing it from a different angle, able to tool the block, and she did her job. Got a few points, got the team going.
Yep, she's back out. Riley Bushler back in. I said she was in place of Lawless. She usually is in place of Lawless, but he wanted to get a change going earlier, so he brought her in place where Bushler would be. Ball outside the antenna.
Little miscommunication. I think Dalton was coming in for the back one. Instead, the set went out to the outside. No one.
Tied up at 12 apiece in the third set here in the John M. Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. The Utes leading 2-0 over 15th ranked UCLA. Dalton makes it work.
Here we go again. Oh! Sutton just getting underneath that ball, keeping it alive for the Bruins. Again, Dalton in transition. That was just an impossible ball to get a kill, yet she finds a way to cover it off the block and get it down.
She's so blue collar, work pale, whatever you want to say. She gets it done. That ball's over. Bushler handles it. Karstelow demanding it from the backcourt. bomb, and this is what Utah does to you. They just won't let you put it down.
Now it's Bailey Bateman's turn to make a bang play turnover for Utah. Here you're going to see Bushler rips this ball. Anai just picking it up in the seam, playing great defense there in the deep middle position, and then Bateman getting over quick to take it away.
If Utah sweeps two ranked teams this weekend, these last two plays are going to show how they did it. They won't let you put the ball down, and certainly if you make a mistake like this overpass, the Utes will pounce on it.
Is at 7 on Pac-12 Networks.
Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Utah leading in the third set 15-12 after they've already won sets 1 and 2. They are hoping to upset 15th ranked UCLA, and their freshmen are bringing the emotion.
Eliza Katoa there. She is just getting it done. 9 kills, 22 swings, hitting .364. And again, we've talked about her hitting, her consistency. UCLA is going to bring in Megan Manoa, try to get things done with another setter, try to find the right combination that can get them back into this match, because they are in deep trouble right now.
Moinoa, a senior from Long Beach, California, has set for this team on and off over the last 2 years. She's got a history of hip and back problems. That's why you haven't seen her as much this year. But I tell you what, at 5'8", she's got a really nice, healthy jump and a big block. Beautiful touch on the ball. She delivers the first one to Bushler.
And that was just a sweet set out to the outside. Bushler liked it. All smiles there. Different setters connect differently with different hitters. Maybe Moinoa and Bushler, they're going to find that rhythm and get UCLA back into this.
Moinoa puts up a great ball for Karsta Lowe, but the 12th block of the match for Utah.
And I think Katoa got a big part of that block. At least she celebrated about it. She gets dug right there on a bomb. Manoa with a perfect set. And then Katoa comes back with the big block.
Beth Lanier's teams are always known for their block, but this weekend they're ridiculous. 13.
Well, that was Katoa again. First she blocks Low from the left side, and now she's going to come back here and take Bushler on and seal the line on the right. Big blocks, 2 in a row.
Moinoa calls her own number there.
Utah's also been doing a great job of serving UCLA short, getting a lot of opportunities off those tough short serves.
Moinoa's first serve of the day. Katoa gets it back in her face from Nightingale and Bushler.
So that was that little inside out. Katoa trying to get that ball back down the line, and Bushler and Nightingale just sealed the net.
Bushler and Nightingale smiling, having some fun up front too. I note it because they're not playing stressed. They don't look stressed. Bushler tips the ball. Toa reaches back. Annihilates it.
Boy, the little plays again. Segan does a great job. This ball is almost touched. She not only gets it up, but sets a perfect ball. And Anai aggressively just going for it on 2. Reckless abandon. They don't care, these freshmen.
Both setters for Utah doing an incredible job this whole weekend. Wow, Karsta Lowe, perfect form up high.
And Moinoa, again, that's the set that Lowe needs over on that left side. She really pushed it out to the antenna, giving Lowe a chance to let that ball come across her body and then rip down the line.
As Inoue comes in to serve, Stronzeli comes in up front alongside Nightingale and Lowe. Ball is just sent over. Second time by Segan today, and Kirby's done it too.
Yeah, both Utah setters are so deceptive on that little club dump out of the middle, just going up, jump setting, and then putting it over.
And you really don't see it in a 6-2 that much where people are dumping, but they are today. back. Just go Karsta low the rest of the way.
Boy, so far Moinoa has been right on the money for UCLA. The hitters seem in such good rhythm with her sets right now. That time Karsta low. That's money for low. That's right where she likes it.
Her next swing will be her 40th. Makes me want to ice my shoulder thinking about it. Anai goes long.
Boy, she's ripped that line a few times, and that was ripped as well, just slightly out of bounds.
Mike, this is what we saw on Friday as well. Is again, they changed the serve receive around, get Anai out of the way, and Truman makes it happen.
Kirby's done that at least 3 times, each time at critical moments of each set, moving the hitters around and almost always setting up Truman on that flare. And Truman's 3 for 3 delivered when they've switched their hitters and where they are positioned on the court.
Again, Truman having another great day, hitting in the mid-400s. Outside, what a delivery from Moinoa. Stronzoli, though, has it fall flat.
Boy, what a set again from Moinoa. That was just a bang-bang kind of play. That pass really low, and Moinoa just set it perfectly to the outside.
Moinoa back to low. It's the set she likes, exactly where she likes it.
Boy, she hits that seam between the middle blocker and the outside blocker so well. Just puts so much pressure on the middle to try to get out there and close it.
Lowe and Moinoa, both seniors. They've played together for years, have a great connection. Encourage that the rest of the way. Meanwhile, Dalton keeps doing the work.
And again, we talk about Dalton and the big plays that she makes at the big times. And this is a tough, tight set. She could easily get stuffed on that, but she finds a way to get it through the block for a huge kill.
Back to Stronzoli. She's a lefty, the ball's inside. She makes it work.
That's a nice save from Stronzoli. That set well inside, just a little dink over the block. And man, for UCLA, it's now or never.
Utah lost 5 in a row coming into this weekend. They were swept in 3 of their last 4. And now they're playing inspired.
Well, we talked about the middles of Utah, and they've come up big again tonight. Bateman and Truman both doing their jobs, hitting high percentages, getting a ton of not only blocks, but soft blocks. Really playing the game well for Utah. That's a big part of this whole magical weekend.
Got to think about postseason play, and as Moinoa dumps this ball, does Utah have a chance to get back in the discussion if they're able to sweep both of these ranked teams this weekend?
Well, they have to keep putting up. You know, the only way they're going to have any discussion is to continue this great play for a couple more weeks.
They have Washington and Stanford both ahead in their schedule. Outside, Katoa crushes, and it is match point for the Utah Utes.
And again, in transition, Katoa just jumps, hangs, and snaps, giving her team a chance for the big 3-0 win here. Wow.
Utah has not beaten UCLA here at home since 2004. And that ball goes to UCLA on a net violation.
Anai threw it down, but caught the top of the net with her hand. Didn't even try to sell it that time. They knew they were in the net.
Maybe it was the bouncing net that gave it away.
But still, they've done everything they need to do to set themselves up for this match.
It remains match point for the Utes. And no doubt that time as it drains down, Utah has swept 2 top 20 teams in the weekend.
And how fitting, Katoa just coming up so big at the end of this third set. She had a couple of great blocks. That time finishing the match off with her patented snap down the line. Utah's for real, like I said. They were 2-10 going into the weekend. Now they're 4-10. A few more wins, a few more wins against top teams like this. Who knows?
Well, they're going to have that opportunity. They have Washington and Stanford and Oregon and Colorado still remaining, all of them at top 25 teams.
Well, at this point, I don't think there's anyone that they're going to go against and go into the match with fear. They have so much confidence, and especially the development of Truman. She was truly spectacular in both matches against USC and UCLA, and if you're Beth Lanier, you're stoked. You want your team to just kind of ride this high, ride this emotion, and take it into next week.
The Pac-12, the toughest conference in the nation, inarguably. 8 teams in the conference ranked in the top 25. What does this weekend say about that conference?
It says a lot, especially about the University of Utah to be a team that's so low in the conference, but can come out and beat 2 of the perennial top teams in the conference and top-ranked teams in the nation.
A huge weekend for Utah. They don't just defend home court, they crush some dreams in the process. 2 top 20 wins. Utah over 15th ranked UCLA today. For Mike Dodd and our entire Pac-12 crew, I'm Anne Marie Anderson saying so long from Salt Lake City, Utah.